Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Pioneer Movie Review. I am Sammy P.
And I'm William. Today we're reviewing Denis Villeneuve's Dune 1.
William, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Get it? Anyways, Dune 1, Part 1. So I read at least that portion of the book before watching that movie originally. I gotta say, it's close enough to the book to where I'm not gonna rant on it, but also the fact that that entire section of the audiobook took me to listen to about 2-3 days at work. I didn't expect them to kind of get everything one for one. They have everything in there that you need from that book. It's just some of it's out of order. Like in Dune 1, okay, so they found the that plant and water room in the little castle house, palace, whatever you would call it.
Kaladin.
The Kaladin, thank you. I got the name of it already. They found it while the attack was happening.
Right.
But they found it way before in the book when the assassination attempt on Paul was attempted.
Right.
And it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, it's fine. You know, there's some minor details, but however, they got everything else that actually hits hard. The characters actually look how they're described in the movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, they actually look how they're described in the book and the movie. Everybody from Paul, the Bene Gesserits, the Deadgum Atreians, everybody looks described. Even the Harnikins kind of have that little thing to them. Also, Dave Bautista is a Harnikin in this movie.
He's good.
He's really good. They had a lot of actually pretty solid actors in there.
They had some good actors.
They had the Duke was the dude was that pilot from
Oscar
the new
Isaacs,
he was Oscar.
Poe Dameron, I think.
Yeah, and the dude that played Willy Wonka recently was Paul. Dave the Animal Bautista was the Harnikin's nephew, and the dude that played the main Harnikin, I think,
Skarsgård.
yeah, he had a lot of roles in the Avengers movies.
Yeah, he was in Mamma Mia as well.
Mamma Mia. And so I'm just kind of like, what? We have a lot of dudes here and ladies, because in this, Zendaya's also in it.
Zendaya's in it.
Dudes and ladies that were in so many movies, and it's just like, how did this get so many negative press in the beginning? Because people went there and they're like, it landed on a cliffhanger. It ended on a yes, it did, because it's a freaking 4-book series in a movie. Harry Potter, for crying out loud, was a longer book series in a movie, and it ended at the end of the book for that movie. It didn't just go in to the next one.
I mean,
Book one ended. Movie 1 ended.
Right. I mean, people are more patient with Harry Potter because it was an established book series. But I'll touch on your first point. Denis Villeneuve, when he was a kid, he couldn't afford a camera, so he storyboarded. He said one day, him and his best friend, they said, we love this Dune series, so one day we're going to make it. And they storyboarded the whole movie together. So, it's not surprising that he was faithful to the first part of the first book. Obviously, there's going to be some differences, like you said, just because, it's a movie.
It's a movie, not a book. You're not going to be able to fit the whole thing in there.
Right.
I would like to see how they could do it like that, but honestly, I don't know if I want to sit there and watch a 20-hour-long movie.
No, it doesn't work because there's been like 4 or 5 adaptations before this that have all flopped.
For crying out loud.
I also think HBO Max and the Warner Brothers kind of screwed with it because they did a new clause that said you had to release any new movie on streaming as well as the theaters, and that kind of screwed with the Dune 1 release.
Honestly, I feel like the theater, I feel like they actually could have done 2 versions, the streaming version and the theater version. The streaming version could have been a little bit more geared towards the book, just because you can always pause it.
You can get away with
to
it
do
being
anything,
longer. Right?
And it can pick it up like. So, but however, what I would call this movie is worth it if you can watch it on streaming. Anyhow you want to watch it.
Anywhere
it was
you
worth
can
price
get
of admission back in the day. Price of admission and popcorn. Get me that Dune 1 popcorn bucket.
Anywhere you can get the movie, you can get the movie. You should watch the movie.
You should, especially before you go watch Dune 2, which
you
is
can
out
watch
now
it
in
with your
theaters.
kids. You can watch it with your grandma. You can watch it with
You can watch it with your dog.
your dog.
Dune is basically adult Star Wars to me. I got that vibe from it. It's a slightly more realistic version of the future. However, I keep laughing that they kept using scrolls. They kept using scrolls.
Yeah, I didn't like the scrolls because, it's like, how do you read? And then in the second one, they have like a tube, and then it's like you have to like turn it like this.
Oh,
it's just
my
like a
goodness.
tube, and you have to like turn it. So
To me,
I think they really have to optimize their reading system in the Dune franchise.
It's funny, but it works for that movie. It's just funny that, yes, we're in the far future. We have space travel. Still reads out of a scroll.
And use swords.
Use swords. Well, that makes sense just because of what is then explained with laser
armor,
guns and
yeah.
with the laser guns and the shields, which that's more of in the second book, at least because I read the book. I don't know how much of that took. Well, then again, I don't remember seeing really any massive explosion that was caused by like laser gun shield fire. But honestly, were they really going to explain it? Because a lot of the stuff from the book, again, I go back to the book here.
The source material.
A lot of the source material in the book is just Paul thinking.
Yeah, it's a lot
and
of
so
Paul.
it's just, but that's how it has to be for a book. So I like it. I like the adaptation. It's just book adaptations to movies, especially when a book like this has a lot of thinking and a lot of. Paul, the actor that played Paul, I don't remember his name.
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy. I'll just call him Timothy.
Timothy, yeah, with 2 E's. He's French.
Timothy, Frenchman. Timothy did good job with the facial expressions in this movie to actually kind of convey the thought process.
Mm-hmm.
The whole scene with the box, dude. In the book, Paul is just thinking like this is just the worst pain. And you can just kind of tell like how just the facial expressions are kind of just getting that across.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I kind of liked how it stayed true. Like, the mother had everything, like the black garment, the needle that close, and it's just the point, like, pristine. Just great. Honestly, I think this is the best book adaptation to a movie I've ever seen in my life.
It's
A lot
definitely
of
the
them are-
best. I think it's the best sci-fi movie.
Oh, 100%.
franchise.
1,000%.
I think it's gonna be set up to be the next Marvel, hopefully.
Please.
Because I mean,
Please.
you've touched on this. The acting power in this movie is ridiculous. And in the second one, you've got Christopher Walken shows up. Austin Butler shows up. Florence Pugh shows up.
Who does Christopher Walken play in this movie?
He plays the Emperor.
Actually, because I read the book. Honestly, yeah, that's actually very good. That's actually a very good choice for the Emperor. Wow.
Yeah. And at first, you're like, Christopher Walken's on the screen right now. What the hell's going on? And then you're like, okay, Christopher Walken's on the screen.
Christopher Walken's on the screen.
You get used to it, and it's just because it's written so well. He tones down his Christopher Walken-ness. He's just kind of a normal dude.
Yeah.
In the second one.
Heck yeah. And then, of course, the Dune franchise is capitalizing off the success of the first, I'll just go and say the first two movies.
Mm-hmm.
First one, initial reviews were bad, but everybody that actually, likes sci-fi, likes this stuff, we like it.
We got past it.
We are here to support it. Second one, I have heard nothing bad about it, probably because, I don't know, it's continuing the series?
Yeah, nothing bad. I've seen reviews that say it's The Empire Strikes Back
It's the
of the 20th century.
So they agree with me. This is just adult Star Wars.
It's adult Star
This
Wars.
is just adult Star Wars.
Christopher Nolan himself said it's Empire Strikes Back. I've yet to hear anyone that knows what they're doing say anything bad about the movie.
Exactly. Because go back to Dune 1, the people that said stuff about that were bad about the movie were the people that just didn't either A, read the book of Dune, B, they didn't like Star Wars at all, or C, just in general, they didn't like sci-fi.
Yeah, and I also know people that didn't know it was a book or that it was a book before Star Wars. I saw many, many comments that were saying it's a Star Wars ripoff.
No.
In fact, it was written
written
many
before.
decades before Star Wars.
It was written before Star Wars, and it was done better. I like George Lucas. I like a lot of his movies. I like Star Wars. Dune is better than Star Wars to me. And maybe it's just because Disney got a hold of Star Wars, and I just feel like everything is now just one giant bigger cash grab than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe my tastes have changed. I really like Dune, how it shows human technological advances and how some of that actually I kind of think like, it wouldn't shock me if they within like the next 200 years humanity gets something similar to like the spaceships, all that, exploring the stars, possibly I'm not going to say like a whole like electromagnetic shield, but something to where, bullets aren't rendered useless, but are rendered slightly less effective like that.
Right.
Like enhanced body armor, almost kind of like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if we get like the suits.
And
like
Frank Herbert, when he wrote the book, he was a seasoned ecologist. So he knew the landscapes of the arid desert. So it's very based in reality there. And then touching on your other point, I think if you give a director like Denis Villeneuve, who's done many movies, sci-fi related, he did Sicario franchise, he did Arrivals, which won an Oscar. He's very good at sci-fi. When you give him and Greg Fraser, the cinematographer, someone who's done The Batman, he did the first Dune, he did the second Dune. When you give these adults the permission to, make a good movie, they can make a good movie. When a big franchise doesn't have a say in it, Star Wars could have been salvaged.
Star Wars could have been what Dune is right now, and it was for a long
while.
It was, and then Disney bought it and basically said, "Hey, you know what? We're just going to be lazy, and our sequel trilogy is just going to be a complete reskin of the original trilogy."
The exact same thing.
With the exact same thing, and we're not going to explain how the Emperor came back. So yeah, good luck with that. Here it is. Pay $500 for our stuff. Versus Dune, that gave Dune the chance to rise, because that also didn't help with all the flops. I mean, goodness, we had a flop 20 years ago. We had another Dune movie come out in the early 2000s, and it flopped hard. I think it flopped so hard it went straight to DVD.
Yeah, I mean, you have David Lynch try to do it. He's a renowned director. He failed. Ridley Scott, who did Alien, he did Gladiator. He tried to do it. He failed. There was another one that was like 14 or 15 hours long.
Oh,
nobody watched that.
Here's the thing. I was saying, like, give me that, but however, I want it as like a special feature. Like, I would be like the only one to watch it, just because nowadays you can pause it, and if you exit the app, you can read back into it.
I'll watch it in 3 days.
Yeah, we'll watch it in 3 days, but I actually want to see how good that movie is to the book now. I want to find that one. But that's the same reason why it took me, a year to finish Last of the Mohicans.
Right.
It's because it was so long, and I've just gotten busier throughout my life. So it's like if you want to watch them, you can, but not everybody's going to sit there and do that. So I feel like this is why we got the perfect balance with keeping good to the book and actually good quality movies
and a decent length.
Decent length. Look, 3 hours for the first one, roughly.
Yeah.
I mean, not bad. I mean, we've had other movies be 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours.
Goodness, wasn't the recent Batman movie about 4 hours? No, 3.5 hours long, almost 4.
Yeah, the director's cut was longer. Yeah, you go look at some of the Lord of the Rings.
Oh my
extended
goodness!
editions. I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan. I've read all the books, seen all the movies multiple times, but 4 hours sitting there watching Lord of the Rings, come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch the Lord of the Rings extended edition. Comes back a day later.
It's an entire day ordeal, and
it is.
Current movies, I think I heard that the average length of an Oscar winner has increased up to 2 hours and 45 minutes. Up from like 2 hours.
And I think it's because we're actually able to have entertaining movies be that long now. It used to be documentaries were like the only thing that were like 2 hours or more.
And you have the budget now as well.
That's the main thing. The budget is increased for a lot of these companies to make good movies. And some of them are just not making good movies whatsoever, which I don't know how you can't in this era make a bad movie.
You got like 600 people working on it. You got as much money as you need.
Exactly. How are we still getting very bad movies?
It's confusing.
I mean, this is the new standard for sci-fi movies. Dune is the new standard. Dune has now set the standard. They have overtaken Star Wars for the first time, and hopefully they don't let up.
And Marvel, thank God.
Oh yes, and they've taken over Marvel. Now they haven't taken over DC, but it's because DC is in their own lane going left.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to take over DC.
I don't know if they do, because that's the entirely different direction that they want to go.
And you know, you're talking about it, it's a double-edged sword because now they're coming out with a video game, which is cool.
Which-
but again, let's slow down
Let's slow it down a
the
hair.
Dune
make sure-
machine.
Make sure that it's still good quality stuff. However, this video game reminds me a lot of the Star Wars Online MMORPG games.
Yes.
'Cause that's what this is. It's basically, I'm trying to remember the exact name of it. Star Wars.
Is it Battlefront?
No, it's not. It's not Battlefront or Battlefield. It's not that. It's
Jedi Academy. Are we thinking of?
no, it's not Jedi Academy. Oh my goodness, help me, please, somebody. It came out recently again. It was kind of like it.
Gotcha. I think it's Fallen Order as well.
Fallen Order,
I think
yeah.
I heard from the.
Think that might have been Fallen Order. Anyways, it kind of has that graphic look and feel because I looked at some of the pictures and early videos. It has that look and feel. It really does. Dune is just becoming a whole brand in of itself, and I like this. This is good.
I
The
think-
movies are great. 10 out of 10. You can go see it with your family, friends, dogs, everything. The brand is great. I'm looking forward to the next installment. I'm going to go watch Dune 2 after we're done with this today. Looking forward to the next installment after that. And the rest of the stuff we get from Dune. Hopefully we get some more stuff.
I would give Dune an 8 or a 9. It was a higher rating before I saw Dune 2. Dune 2 is a 10 out of 10. I think let's slow down the Dune machine a little bit. You know, the world is more patient than we think.
Yes.
Go see this movie. Go see Dune 2. Give them money. They deserve the money. Let's get more movies like this in the theaters.
Yep. Dune 1 for me was a 9 out of 10. Slow down the Dune machine again. Focus on quality over quantity. We want more movies like this, not just from sci-fi, but for everything. Movie quality, recently, it's been an all-time low. This is a breath of fresh air. Let's get more like this. Give more money to Dune. Alrighty. That is it. Thank you for watching. I'm Sammy P.
I'm William.
Have a great day.